All right, if you're looking to trade Amazon, this video is for you. Amazon currently sits at the high price it's been at in a year and a half. Since back in April of 2022, it's sitting right around 150 right now, and it broke out of this triangular pattern that it was sitting in for about a week and a half. It broke out of that 3 days ago. We're going to look at why it broke out and where it may be heading in the near future. We'll do that right now. But before I do, a reminder, this is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. I am not trained to do so. I am simply looking for patterns in the market that I can trade against. Do your own due diligence. All right, I already mentioned that Amazon had been sitting in this range for almost about a month. It sat in this range from about the 14th of November to the 12th of December. And as it sat in this range right here, noted by these two black lines, you can see price was getting smaller, more constricted, and more tight. That's denoted by this trend line at the top and trend line at the bottom. Well, we had seen many of those triangular wedge formations in several stocks across the market, which gave us some indication that, look, price across the entire market was looking to break out soon, and it did so in Amazon as well. On the 13th of December, which was earlier this week, you can see price broke out and it went above this resistance line and also broke out of this constraining triangle pattern. Now, it didn't stay out. The next day it gapped up and then came all the way down, and price even found itself right back right in the middle of that range. Did not stay there, and then it has broken out even higher and is going to close, has closed above this resistance and completely out of the triangular wedge. So, what do we think Amazon might do next? Well, it's really hard to say. I don't try to predict, I prepare. I really think that's the only way you can make any money in the market. Predictions can be dangerous because none of us actually know what's in the market. So what's going to happen in the market. So I'm going to prepare by looking to see if I can denote some more patterns. And this is what I happen to see just glancing at the chart. I see, and I've seen this across several other stocks in the market, that when it broke out of that current or that triangular pair, it was actually in the process of creating a rising wedge the last 2 months. And that's what Amazon has done as well. You can clearly see the rising wedge there. It's also very clear when I switch to a weekly chart. So it's toward the high of that wedge. That's not a bad thing. But what it just tells us is if we extend this a little bit further out, we want to watch that because that wedge is probably going to provide some resistance here in the near future. And if it falls again within this range, it could provide some support as it has here. Okay, so in the short term for Amazon, what I would want to be doing is watching that wedge. I would want to see, is it going to stay in it or come out of it? If it pops out the top, well, what we need to do is go way back here. Like I said, it's been a year and a half since Amazon has been this high. So I'm going to move to the weekly chart and see if I see any strong resistance lines that may be coming up. I see one right here, right about 151. Okay, I'm about to pop a line here and then I'm going to show you why. I popped a line there because if I move it here, you can see it's the low of that wick, the low of that wick, the low of that wick, and the low of that wick. So it's not too far away, and it has served as some support in the past, which will flip and turn into resistance. So that's not that much of a move. That's up to about 150.94. Let's see if we can find one higher. I'm going to go a little higher. I see some resistance or some spots here. That's right around 153, 154. Again, that wick, that wick, that wick, that wick. Decently comfortable with that one. I'd like to see something more recent, like right around here, but I'm not seeing anything jump out at me. Price just kind of during January 2022 to April 22 just kind of went all in and out of that range and beat up every sort of resistance I see. So I don't see anything obvious, so I'm going to leave it right here for now. Of course, I do see if I wanted to pop another one higher, even one right here, which is the bottom of that wick, bottom of that wick, bottom of that wick, top of that wick. All right, good. That gives us enough levels to aim for. if Amazon should happen to break out of this channel and move on up. Okay, so that gives us some good spots: 158, 154, roughly around 150, somewhere around there. Now, if I go back to the daily chart, what if price happens to fall out? Okay, well, the first thing we're going to look for is, does Amazon get below this 148, this line right here? That would keep it inside that rising wedge, that rising channel, excuse me, so no problem there. It could fall all the way out there, maybe bounce against this and go back up. But if it falls out of this channel, what am I going to be looking for? Well, I've already got this line right here at 144. I'm going to keep that right now because we're not terribly out of the woods from that yet. It's not that far away. If price would fall out of that channel, hit that. How much further would we be looking for it to go? Maybe something like right here. Somewhere around there. That's about 140. I can see price getting down to there and then making a decision point, having the market decide there. So I'm not trading Amazon right now. The reason is because I don't know if it's going to go up or down. I just don't know. It is at a 1.5-year high. So there's always the chance that it could turn around. Right now, I'm just going to look at that wedge and see what happens and see what the market does once it gets out of that rising wedge. If I were going to trade it, I would do some short-term trades. I would look for tops and bottoms here. I would trade level to level, but I wouldn't take a large guess at where it's going next because I don't know. I'll just say that right now. I'm trying to switch back to the weekly. It's like we're frozen up here, so I can't. I did want to go back to the weekly just to see if I saw anything else from a week standpoint. If I recall, now just completely frozen up here. If I recall, I was seeing about 4 weeks in a row that had gone up. So let's see if this thing will refresh for me. All right, it did refresh, and I wanted to go to the weekly. Yeah, see, we've got several weeks that are up there. So you just never know exactly what's going to happen, if it's going to continue up or fall back down. If it were me, I'd be looking for some retracement, at least to the bottom of that wedge. But again, I'm not going to trade it because I don't see any clear good risk to reward. So that's where we stand on Amazon. I'll continue to update you on this price. We'll see if it stays in this rising channel for long or what the market decides to do. So be sure to check back for more updates on Amazon.